It's
The
the music
music
and
has a
the
show.
show.
That was
That
bad.
was terrible.
But let's do
Let's
it
edit
again.
that bit. Good thing. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Three,
It's
two, one.
oh, oh my God. All right, here
And
we go.
time's up.
3, 2, 1.
It's
It's
the
the
music
music.
and kids a show.
Oh my
That
God.
was still terrible, but we'll work on it.
Hey, look, clearly we can't be good at everything.
That's
That
the
was
one
shocking.
thing. There's one, there's always something you're not good at. That's the one thing for us, obviously.
We're not coordinated singers. We could never be a backup to Beyonce, okay?
No, no, definitely not. Definitely not. No, we're
Oh my
no
gosh.
Destiny's Child.
Oof. Wow.
Millsy, it
Okay.
has been a hot minute. What have you been doing, girl?
Well,
Where you been
what
at?
have I been doing? I've been doing some shadow work. I've
Very
been,
good.
yes, because I won't go into it all because I'm still processing some stuff, but
Hmm.
just a hot tip, if something makes you feel that for whatever reason you're going into fight or flight and you don't quite get it, or
Hmm.
you're freezing, or you're fawning, and all those things, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response,
Hmm.
that comes out of some kind of fear or an unmet need or some kind of shadow that's lurking.
A belief system that you don't align with.
Correct, correct.
Mhm.
And I thought I'd done so much work, and I have. I've done so much work. I'm kind of almost like a different person to what I was a few years ago.
Mm.
And I thought I'd kind of gotten all those things out, but something got me last week. And like I said, I won't go into it fully here because I'm still dealing with some stuff. But
Hmm.
just that's your clue. If you're getting triggered, you find yourself going into freeze or flight because they're the most, sorry, flight or flight because they're the most common ones.
Hmm.
And they're the ones that just sort of, when your nervous system gets all jacked up, there's something there.
Hmm.
And most of us will numb out, we'll have a wine, we'll doom scroll, all those things.
Hmm.
We're ignoring it, we're pushing it to the side. And it will keep coming back, either the little knock knocks or the
Hmm.
big look at me, look at me.
Hmm.
And until we get there, it's just going to stay there. So I already know that this is big for me
Yeah.
and it's going to change some big stuff for me.
Hmm.
Watch this space kind of thing. But
Yeah.
we've all got them and we don't even know what we don't know, right?
Yep, 100%. And
Yeah.
it's when something big comes up inside of you, like just trust that the feeling is there for a reason. Like our
Mm-hmm.
body has an infinite intelligence within us that is dividing cells all the time. It's breathing for us. It's doing all of those things that we don't have any conscious awareness of. But our body, when it feels triggered, it's saying, oh, this happened to us in the past, and we had to protect ourselves. So this feeling's
Yeah.
coming up, and here's the thing, like we get so obsessed with why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
Why did he say that to me? Why has this happened to me? Why? We actually don't need to freaking know why. We just need to actually just sit with it
Mm.
and process it and feel it out. Cry it
Mm.
out, do it, honor your body, honor what you need to do. And it's not like, and as you were saying before, like, we might, turn to wine or doom scrolling or Netflix or numb out in some
Mm.
way.
Mm.
Not that any of those things is wrong, but you yourself know the energy in which you're doing it if you know that you're avoiding something. So,
Yeah.
so you know yourself. So you just need to have real brutal honesty with yourself as to,
Yeah.
am I doing this because I actually just want to enjoy a glass of wine, or am I doing it to numb out? So
Yes.
like it
There's
all
a
depends
different
on
vibe to it. Absolutely.
absolute, yeah. So
And when, yeah, when you find yourself just getting a bit niggly with your partner, shall we call it, or a little bit
mm,
short with the kids, because
mm-hmm,
let's face it, when you're in your own home and you're safe, your kids are going
mm-hmm,
to act out at home because you're going to love them no matter what. They
yeah.
might be on their best behavior at school or at
Mm-hmm.
grandma's, and then they come home and they, "Ugh,"
Oh yeah, they're at their
because
worst with us.
and then
Absolutely.
oh, they're the worst with us, but and not we don't have bad kids by any means. It's just that they finally are in their safe place to be able to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're in a vulnerable moment ourselves, it can land differently and we can take it personally. We can shout that,
Mm-hmm.
you can see what happens, right? The
Yeah.
unraveling of all that. And
Mm.
if we just go, you know what? It wasn't personal. I know they don't hate me, and I
Mm.
certainly don't hate them.
Mm.
And just the reminder that everyone needs to cool off, and they do not have the skills to be emotionally regulated when they're
Mm.
children.
Yeah.
That prefrontal cortex that hasn't come on yet to make good decision making skills, be able to rationalize, be able to
Mm-hmm.
talk themselves out of how they're feeling, all those things. They just don't have it. They're not equipped. So
No.
what do?
Act
They,
out.
yeah, that's it. So, um, and same with hubby. He comes home, he's had a big, long, hard day. He just wants to chill. And we're finally at a point where, I just want to verbally
Yep.
unload my day. All
Mm-hmm.
this verbal diarrhea is coming out about, well, I had an appointment with this and this person rang and I dealt with this and this is broken. And, but we're just
Mm.
unloading our day. And because we have been wanting someone to share with all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then hubby's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Where's my minute? Where's my minute?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but funnily
Yeah.
enough, like when we unload, women want to be understood. Men kind of feel like they need to fix it then. So
Yes.
interestingly, as you are sort of unloading your day, he's come home from a big day and you start unloading. And even though it's not like it's not a personal attack on him, you're just telling him about your day because you just want
Just
to get it
sharing,
off.
just
Yeah,
wanting to be
get it off.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he, in his own mind, is thinking, I've just had a big long day at work and now I need to fix all of this for Amelia.
Yeah.
Because you're like, this and this and this and this. And he's like, oh God, how am I going to fix this for her? How am I going to? Because men want to make us happy and they
Yeah.
make us happy by fixing
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
and reaching tall things and lifting heavy objects. That's what I keep my husband around for. But like, but yeah, so yeah, I think good to pre-frame the offloading as
Yeah.
I don't need you to fix anything. I'm just letting you know my
I
day.
just need to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
blurt. I just need to
Otherwise, he's
blurt.
going to be like, okay, well, I'll do that Saturday morning after I drop the kids off at football, and then I'll do this. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, because he's probably at capacity as well. It's like you're putting rocks into a bag, and you have to carry this bag around all day.
Mm.
And same thing with the kids, right? Like you've got a bag of rocks that you carry around every day, and especially as mums, like we have this bag of rocks
Yeah.
that nobody see. Like they see the stuff that we do, like we're running kids around, we're making lunches, we're tidying houses, we're working.
Making the appointments.
Yeah, making the appointments, running to appointments. So all of these things you
Yep.
can see, but that's the top layer of rocks. All
Yeah.
the rocks underneath are, I'm going to cook this for dinner tonight. Is it like nutritionally balanced and are the kids getting what they need? I have to go to this appointment, but I think that this appointment's a little bit bullshit. But if I don't do it, I might be judged around not doing it. So I better make it, even
Yeah.
though I don't think it's necessary, because I don't want to miss anything, because I don't want to be a bad mum. And
Yeah.
like that's all of the rocks underneath
The
that
mental load.
nobody sees. Yeah. So there was,
Yeah.
look, I've actually got this book out there. It's called The Invisible
Oh,
Load.
there you go.
And yeah, so I'm doing my frazzled masterclass next week. And the first probably 5 pages was my inspiration for doing
Beautiful.
that. Yeah, but she was talking about the rocks we carry around. And it's like, and so if you've got a lot of those rocks, and plus you're processing your own shit at the moment. So
Yeah.
kids come home from school, they want to offload a few of their rocks and throw them into your bag, but you're already at capacity. So that's when the snapping happens and the just shut up and give me 5 minutes and locking yourself in the bathroom. That's when it happens because you're like, if I add any more rocks to this load, they're just going to all fall out.
Mm.
So yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, that load that we carry, which is all of the underlying stuff. It's not the running around or the doing, it's the actual all the other stuff. And oh God, I've got to
Yeah.
meet mother's group, and if I don't meet with mother's group, they might start talking about me and and oh, my kid's misbehaving and they're judging me as a parent. Blah, blah. So it's all of this invisible stuff that adds to the load, and that's why like self-care and emotional processing is such a big fucking deal.
So important.
We need to unload those rocks that nobody sees.
Right.
So yeah,
So
it's
so yeah. But what I was kind of going with was my some of my mentors have always said triggers are a gift.
mm-hmm,
And
Yeah.
the first time you hear that, and for someone like just
Yeah.
a normal
Yeah.
person will
Yeah.
go,
You just
huh?
think, mm,
What do you
yeah.
mean? What do you
Yeah.
mean? I hate being triggered. Why would I want that? Where's the gift? So um, I guess me thinking that I'd worked through so much stuff, I thought I didn't have any triggers left, but then a big one got me. So
Yeah. And new
yeah,
level, new devil as well. New
that's
level,
it.
new
That's
devil.
it. So
Like you will
I can
always
see
get.
the gift in it now, and I can see that um, something that happened years ago has been back there um, that
Mm,
needs worked on. So
yeah.
that's what I'm going
Having
through at the moment.
having its own
Yeah.
little party, having its own little
Yes.
party.
Yes.
Yes,
Exactly.
interesting. And like the thing is, yeah, the good thing is we've got the tools to be able to handle it now. It's
Yeah.
kind of like it's like, right, I want to become a plumber, and it takes a while to get all of the tools that you need to be a plumber.
Right.
But once you've got the tools, you can get a leak anywhere. But it's like, okay, yeah, oh, okay, different leak, no worries. I've got the same tools will work. So you can use those
Yeah.
same tools to work through anything that comes up. And there's only
Yeah.
a certain amount of fears in the world, right? But we're
Mm.
going to, but like next level Millsy has to deal with this
Yeah.
now. So yeah,
So
and
then you
my
can go from just someone who tinkers to being a master tradesman, and it's a beautiful
yeah,
thing.
it
Yeah.
is, it is. But
And
yeah,
you're helping everyone around you, because when you can pick up that your children are doing, bleh when they get home, and when you know that hubby just needs a minute, and that and like you said, just framing it like, I don't need you to fix anything. I'm telling you the outcome, not my
mm,
struggle, maybe,
yeah,
or
mm,
yeah. So
mm,
just being aware of this stuff, and you don't know this stuff, you don't know what you don't know. So
mm,
just
yeah,
having this awareness, because so much of that petty stuff can lead to big things if we
mm-hmm.
don't sort of work out how to communicate effectively and be aware of each other's needs and feelings.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
always remembering that behavior is an attempt at communication as well. So
Yeah,
if you find yourself being snappy or you've got like no resilience around any sort of noise or anyone else coming at you with anything else, if you've got nothing in the tank, that's going to show by your behavior. So you're going to get
right.
snappy, you're going to start throwing things around, and your mind's going to start thinking, why is it always me? And la la la. So always like being really aware and conscious of what's going on in your mind and in your body, and go, oh, I'm getting snappy. What is not getting met?
Yeah,
What do I need to process, or what need isn't being met here? Like and yeah, having your own behavior be an indicator of, oh, something's wrong here. And yeah, I love the trick. Like the triggers will always point to a part of yourself that still needs healing. There is something
yeah.
there.
It
And
lets you know that there's an unmet need, or a wound that you're still carrying.
yep. And the
Yep.
problem is never the problem. It is
No,
always something else. Like,
exactly.
did we go into it last time? Like hubby sat in the other room and didn't like talk to me. And it's like, it wasn't the fact that he didn't talk to me. It was the fact that it played into, my feelings of, possible rejection and abandonment and, not
Yeah,
being enough. So not being good enough or not being entertaining
yeah,
enough, whatever it
yeah,
is. So yeah, it's never the surface area thing. There's always something underneath. So never react from that surface area. Always sit and go a little bit deeper
yeah.
before you actually bring your beef to your partner. I actually did a post, like, I did a reel the other day. Did you see that? My beef? Are you the beefy or the beefer?
Yes, yes,
You're
yes.
bringing beef, yeah. So yeah, it's all very interesting and interconnected. And it sounds like if you haven't done this work, it sounds really complicated. And oh God, how am I going to remember all that? Once you start doing the work and you start integrating it into your life, just bit by bit, like
Mm,
I've been doing this for what, 3 years now. Mills, you've been doing it for
mm.
2. Like what when you do the work, it works.
Yeah. And if you need to reach out, like that's what we do. Like as a coach, I love helping people through this. So
Mm.
let me know, hit
Yeah,
me up. So,
that's it.
and once you've got the tools, like, because this is almost like providing a toolbox to walk you through some steps, this is not something you need to keep, you don't need to keep seeing a coach forever. Like they can help you work through, and then you can use that blueprint to then apply it to all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Once you've got the tools, you don't need more
Yeah.
tools. Like as long as you can process your emotions, move, like
Yeah.
understand fear as it shows up in all of its sneaky little forms, because it shows up in people pleasing, self sabotage, perfectionism, procrastination,
Yeah.
um, all of those things. Like
Yeah.
it's like when you can recognize when it's coming up, when you know who you are, when you know your values, like everything just falls into place when
Yeah.
you've got those pillars sorted out. So it's really like it is a little bit time intensive um to figure out all of these things, but like
Yeah.
once you start integrating it into your life, it's like, oh, okay, now it all works together. It's all just like a jigsaw puzzle that all
Yeah.
fits in together. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is worth it if you want to be a better person for your partner, for your kids, for your colleagues, for your siblings, for everyone around you. Like
Mm.
all like working on yourself is the best
It's
way.
the best. It's the best. When
Mm,
once you can't unlearn what you work through during these sessions, you can't unlearn it. You have that forever.
yeah.
And if you're a less triggered person,
Mm,
fantastic. Who wants to be that person that you never know if you're gonna go into some rage out of nowhere or get
mm,
snappy when someone keeps like a lot of the time we kind of do have an inkling really what it
mm,
is and we
mm,
get all avoidant about it, but just tackle it head on,
mm,
deal with it, move through it, learn from it,
mm,
and you'll be, I'm not going to say healed, you'll be, because you're never broken. This is human stuff. We're here for
mm.
this human experience, so this is all
Yeah.
part of it, and working through it and learning from it. It's amazing stuff. I love
Yeah.
this work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's juicy. It's juicy,
it
juicy, juicy.
is juicy, juicy.
Mhm. Excellent. Well,
Speaking of juicy,
mm,
you had something for us, didn't you?
scenario.
What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
Have
So
we rambled enough?
this one we chose. I've got to mix it around because I have used it in another from another group, and it was anonymous anyway. Like there's no names on it, but I'll mix it around a little bit
Yeah.
just so you all get the general gist. All right. So this is about. This is from anonymous. You know, anonymous got
I
terrible
know.
life.
Gosh,
Poor anonymous. Poor anonymous.
poor girl.
So she's saying that her partner was trying to talk with her about not having enough sex, basically. She is a mum that does all of the housework. So she does bath times, bed times. Um, she doesn't have any time to herself to see friends or exercise. And working is her only outlet that she has. So her day job, I'm assuming. Um, so she has tried to tell him when everything is said and done, when the kids are in bed and like dishes are washed, that she just wants a minute to herself. And he has already had time to himself by this stage because he's sitting in front of the TV while she's running around bathing kids, etc. Um, and he doesn't think to do things like dishes or fold laundry while she's attending to children and getting them into bed. She knows that she is not being physical with him, and she understands where he's coming from. And he says that it makes him feel lonely, and that he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do to fix it. She says that she doesn't like the fact that she never feels like sex, and she didn't choose to feel the way that she's feeling, but she feels like she's doing all of the chores plus she's working. And she's frustrated that when she gets a moment to herself, she feels like she's letting her partner down because she doesn't want to do the boom chicka bow wow. So I reckon that that's
Mm,
an age old tale from working mothers
yeah.
all over the world. So
Gosh.
yeah, and it's a big one. It's a real big one because yeah, I think like women, especially with young kids as well, like by the
Yeah.
end of the day, we are touched out. We have not had our
Oh,
bodies to
yeah.
ourselves for hours and hours and hours. And to just have one more person wanting to be on us, it's like just get off. Like just get off. Um, so yeah, so I can completely empathize, and I'm sure that you can as well, and anyone
Yeah.
who has children.
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
empathize 100%. So yeah, so what would be, yeah, how, what do you reckon? How
Mm.
would you tackle that?
So, I mean, I always question with curiosity first. No judgment,
Mm-hmm.
questions. So, if my client came to me and this is how she was feeling,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely validate her. Yeah, she doesn't feel like it for sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's she's tired. She's probably more than tired. She's probably exhausted. Like you said, she's all touched out. She's working out of the house and then probably doing what sounds like the main part of the house stuff as well as the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got unmet needs herself that she's not been able to share the load.
Mm-hmm.
So the load's not being shared from just that snapshot we got.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and let's assume he's working all day long. He's tired. He just wants to rest as well. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Very familiar. So obviously a conversation has to happen. So this is where we say, okay, he says he's feeling lonely. And what
Mm-hmm.
was her words? She said she felt
She felt,
under like the vibe I got was just basically underappreciated.
yeah, I'm tired of doing all the chores and household kid things on my own, and I'm frustrated that when I get a moment to myself at the end of the day, I'm letting him down if I don't give more. So she's already overgiving.
She's
So
frustrated. Yep.
absolutely, yeah. So I would definitely, as you say, validate every single thing she said, because as well, did we talk about this off camera or on camera, the invisible load and the,
Yeah, we did that.
was
Yep.
on camera? Yeah, good, good.
Yep.
Yep. So she is
The
carrying
bag of
around
rocks. Yep.
big, big bag of
Yep.
rocks, right? Big
Yep.
bag of invisible rocks. Um, so yeah, carrying all that around, plus doing all the things, plus being touched out, 100%. Yes, you are allowed to feel shit around all of that. And really important that she is able to offload all of that emotion, all
Mm,
of that story, all of that stuff. Really important that she offloads all of that rage,
mm.
journals, screams into a pillow, kicks something across the room, preferably not a small child or husband, and like to get that emotion out, because
Yep.
nothing can happen if you have got big emotions of, especially frustration,
Yeah.
anger, resentment. They're big, heavy emotions. So offload that shit. Talk about it. Get it off your chest. Talk to a person who doesn't have any judgment or wants to fix it. They'll just hear you and go, "Yep, that's shit. Yep, absolutely, 100%. Gotcha. Feel ya." Like, just to be understood.
Mm,
Before I would even come, I would go to hubby though. I would invite her to do all of that processing around that, get rid of all of the, well, offload, voice,
yeah. Vent. Get the
yeah,
venting out.
give voice to the resentment, give voice to the
Yeah.
anger, give voice to the frustration around all of it. Then when you've gotten rid of that top, when you've blown off that top layer of emotion, then you can get to the actual core of the problem. So because the problem, as we said, the problem's never the problem. What is the problem here? So the problem, if I am assuming, like I would ask her in, like if this was a coaching session, I would ask her, why is it such a big deal that he is sitting on his, on watching TV while you're doing this? What is the underlying, what's the problem with that? Why is that a problem for you? Is a
Mm-hmm.
good question to ask.
Mm,
And I imagine that the answer would be, it's a mismatch of value of time. Like it's like his time is more important than my time.
mm.
So that could be an underlying resentment. But I'd
Or
say that
his perception that he's earned it more.
yes, because he's
Yeah.
earned money. So it could be like the undervaluing of the household
Mm-hmm.
chores because it's
Mm-hmm.
not paid labor. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't hold the same value, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems easier, I guess. So there's a bit of that. So there's an underappreciation of what she does. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lack of respect. There
Mm-hmm.
is a lack of like respect for her time and what she does, and there is resentment around him thinking that his time is more important than hers, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, and his
Mm-hmm.
contribution is more important
Mm-hmm.
than hers. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be another underlying issue. And the unmet need
Yeah.
of, the six human needs from Tony Robbins. One of them is appreciation and importance, or significance and importance.
Mm,
She doesn't feel that he thinks that she is significant and important, or what she does is significant and important.
mm,
So it could be that. For him, the unmet need is connection, because men, especially, view sex as connection. So we
mm.
need to have the emotional connection before we feel connected enough to enjoy the sex. But men actually see sex a lot of the time as connection.
Yeah.
So he's missing that connection as well.
So
So,
the physical, so yeah, he's seeking physical connection. She's seeking emotional connection.
hmm. But
Yeah.
I think for men, and I'm happy to be wrong here as well, from my understanding, that men see the physical connection as emotional connection as well. Like that's how they feel really connected
Right. Yeah.
to us. I believe that's from conversations I've had with hubby and things, like when we haven't
Hmm.
connected for a while, when we haven't connected for a while. But like, yeah, he's like, it's because that's how I view it. And
Yeah.
it's like I used to think of my husband as like a rutting ram, just like just trying to stick it in any hole that he can find. And it was like annoying. It was like just, but it's like when he actually explained to me, like, this is my connection. This is how and like maybe he was just, I don't know, saying it to get me emotionally entrapped in it all. So I'd give it up. But like, I don't
Shout
know.
out to Mr. Thorne if you're watching.
Yeah. I have actually described this to him though, and I said, I feel like you're a rutting ram. Stick it in anywhere, and
If
he's
you're listening to this on Spotify and you can't see what Kerry's doing, come back and watch it on YouTube because anyway, carry on, love.
but it's funny
That's
because I
yes,
actually
I think we've all got that visual now. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
Yeah,
did bring it up with him like last
yeah.
week, and he's like, oh, column A, column B. It's like, sometimes I am just weird. But yeah, 50% of it is actual connection as well. So yeah, so those are the underlying unmet needs. So we've got like the annoyance and the frustration, but underneath is like definitely resentment, unmet needs of
Yeah.
significance and importance. He's got an unmet need of connection. So what do we do with that? So
Yeah,
once we've mentioned it,
exactly. So what do we do with that? Because
so
she'll be
step,
thinking that's just one more chore I have to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And here's the thing too, like with with the comments that came up under that, like that in that particular post that I read out, there was like 147 comments on it.
Wow.
And a lot of it, as you can imagine, was man bashing, was all about
Yeah.
but it would be really, really interesting to actually see, because I'm saying this, I'm not victim blaming, I'm not gaslighting,
Mm.
and I'm not. But this is like from my personal point of view, what I used. So this is like the timeline of my marriage, my 22-year-old marriage. So when when Mark and I first got together, and I can see all of this in hindsight now. I wanted to impress him. I wanted to be like his mother. His mother had it all together. She worked 3 jobs, she homemade everything. She had that, the house was always looking like a show home. She's very neat, very clean person. And I thought, oh, that's what he wants. So I bent over backwards to do more all the time. So I was the one that did all the washing, did all the cleaning, did the bathrooms, did the cooking, did all of the things. Plus, I was working, 9 shifts a fortnight as well. So full time shift work pretty much as well. Paid the bills, did all of these things. And that was me before we were married. So where did I set the bar?
Mm.
Like
Oof.
ridiculously high, like stupidly high. And so then, as we got married and we got comfortable, and things started to
Who
get.
wouldn't want to marry that, Kerry?
I know
Ooh.
all of this. I was blonde, I was skinny. It was like I was the full package. Who wouldn't want me, right? And that's what I was selling. Like I was like, why
Yeah,
wouldn't you want me? Look at me. I can cook, I can clean, I can juggle. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and I think a lot of women do that, whether they would actually be honest enough with themselves to admit that or not. I'm at that point where I'm like, yeah, I'm honest with myself. That's what I completely sold myself.
Mm.
And I set that bar really high. And then I felt this obligation to maintain it.
Mm.
And
With children in the mix.
yeah, and then you throw kids in, and
Yeah,
it's very, very hard to maintain.
very
And so,
hard.
what I was doing when kids came along is I was trying to maintain that status of keeping the house tidy, taking the kids to Gymbaroo and the mothers' groups and doing all of this thing. Plus, I also had this belief, again, if I'm being brutally honest with myself, I had this belief that marriage was hard and having kids was hard. And
Hmm.
we friggin' love being right. And so
Mm.
I did everything in my power to make that true for me. So I made my marriage hard. Oops, sorry about that. I made my marriage hard and I made having kids hard.
Yeah.
When my innate core self wants to have fun, wants pleasure,
Mm.
I had this belief that it had to be hard because it was modeled by my parents, it was modeled by my siblings, that it
Mm.
was hard. And so I thought that marriage was like a continuous bickering match between each other. Like there was few little
Because that's
moments.
normal. That was your normal.
That was my
Yeah.
normal. That was my normal.
Yeah.
So I made it that way.
Mm.
So yeah, and so with me trying to set this bar so high, then bringing kids into the mix, then
Mm.
not being able to emotionally process stuff, I was a friggin' nightmare to live with. I was
Mm.
like, I had my kids treading on eggshells. Well,
Mm.
Lila, because Ashton didn't give a shit.
Mm.
but
Yep.
but yeah, I had my kids treading on eggshells. I had my husband not being able to do a friggin' thing right
Mm.
because I was so like I was not getting my needs of significance and importance met, like because
Mhm.
he didn't see what I did, because I did it all. And then when he went to do it, it was like, oh, he thinks I can't do it. How dare he not think I do it? So I'd go
Yeah.
on and do it, and then I'd be resentful because I'm the one always doing it.
Yeah.
So I just wonder how many women get caught in that trap of wanting to be the only one doing it, but then getting pissed off when they're the only ones doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not willing to, A1, give up the control of doing it their way
Hmm.
and not having it being done their way, being okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, I
Like
just,
I admit, I like my washing hung a certain way.
mm-hmm,
And like I was saying to you before, I can't handle the way my husband hangs out the washing. He'll put a
yeah.
like hang the shirt, he'll put a peg just right in the middle of the shirt.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh my
And I
God.
lose my mind. I go, I
Yeah.
can't walk around with a peg mark in the middle of my
No,
top.
no. I
Like
mean, I'm
so,
sure they do it terribly, so we will take over. Who knows? Like that.
or the whole they pack the dishwasher like I don't even know what you want to
Yeah,
call that
nothing's
thing,
getting
but
clean. Yeah,
Jesus, it's like no,
yeah.
I Tetris it all beautifully, and it's like so, and can't, I can't even
Yep.
cope when I see that dishwasher, and I like, I guess I'll redo it then.
Yeah.
So then, but I need to learn to let go. It's like there's more than one way to clean a dish.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than one way to hang a shirt. So we've come to the agreement that he just does not wash my clothes. He can
Yeah.
do his clothes. If he
Mm-hmm.
wants to wash the kids' school clothes, and he'll quite often do their uniforms and stuff, that's great. They don't really
Mm-hmm.
care if they've got peg marks here, there, and everywhere. I
Mm-hmm.
do care about my clothes, so I don't let him touch them. And so
Yeah.
my washing's cut down by a third, 2/3. So
Yeah.
that's our compromise on that.
Yeah, yeah. Like you need to decide what's important to you. So your
Yes.
clothes are important to you, so you'll happy to take that on.
Yeah.
Like my husband, when he hangs stuff out on the clothes area, it looks like the washing machine sneezed on it and the clothes have just gone pooh, wherever they
Yeah.
land is where they
Yeah.
land. So yeah, so clothes are my domain, but please, he can feel free to, mop the floors and vacuum and tidy as much as he likes. But yeah,
Yeah.
there are certain things that I don't want him to do, and that's okay. But I'm not
Yeah.
going to be resentful for him for not doing it
Yeah.
because I've already asked him not
I
to
mean,
do
can you
it.
imagine selling them? Oh, you're sweeping the floor wrong. You have to
They're
go
not,
this
yeah,
way instead of
yeah,
that way. Like,
yeah.
like yes, certain thing. Just let it go and let them.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm just wondering, like with this particular scenario, and as I
Yeah.
say, I'm not victim blaming or gaslighting or anything
Mm,
along those
mm,
lines, but I would be very interested if she was to be honest with herself, and she
mm,
could be completely, no, I don't do any of that, and fine. But
mm.
like, yeah, like did he go to help the kids and he didn't do it the right way, so she jumped in, or little Jimmy goes, I want mummy, and oh, he wants me, and that, like, was there any of that, I wonder, because we do like to be needed and wanted and
And
liked
that's the
as well.
importance coming, or the significance, sorry, coming in. We are
Mm,
most generally particularly when our children are quite young, we are the significant parent in their life,
Mm-hmm.
and we can resent that all we want at times, but
Mm-hmm.
we also made it that way.
Yeah,
Like I was
yeah.
watching a video the other day, and the woman was saying, "Don't become the expert in your child. You need to
Yes,
share it."
I
Did you
heard
hear
that
that
too.
too? And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
Perfect, brilliant.
"Wow, I never heard that before, and kind
Yeah.
of wish I had." So,
Yeah,
because
and you don't think
yeah,
of that when you do have young kids, you think, oh, that's not going to be a problem with me. And then 5 years later, when you're the only one that can settle them at night time, it's like, oh, yeah, wish I'd listened to that.
yeah.
So
Because you
yeah,
had to find your way. We didn't get the manual either. We had to just trial and error, and we worked out what worked.
mm,
And being many gens, we're pretty efficient and
mm,
find shortcuts, and we can make things happen pretty easily.
yeah,
So, and when your husband's not the same, I try and give them the shortcut too, going, oh, they like this, they like that. They're like, well,
yeah,
hang on, I want to try it this way.
yeah, and
Let
let
them.
them,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
See? Oh,
So what have we established? We've established process the emotion around
yep,
it,
yep.
obviously. Get all of the anger, all of the resentment, all of the stuff
Let it out.
that
Let
is
that energy
yeah,
flow.
all of the angry stuff that you would love to say that would just feel really, really good to say it to their
Mm.
face and just have them stay there and take it. Get all of that off your chest, but don't do that in front of them because once you
Yeah,
say things, you can't unsay them. And it's actually not what the core of the problem is. So process all the emotion, then you can access that deeper what's missing. So what is the unmet need? What
mm,
is the actual thing that you are feeling? So yes, you
mm,
feel angry, but it's because you're resentful because I feel like you don't value my time.
right.
And I feel like you think your time is more important than mine or your downtime is more important than mine. So that's what the actual crux of the problem is.
Right.
So then what do we do? How do we bring beef to the situation?
Yeah.
How do we talk about it? So
Yeah. Well, I would probably give her some suggestions, and she would be able to work out how to integrate that into her life. Like, actually have a do the setup, say, hubby, how's 10 o'clock on Saturday morning? Are you free to come on a coffee date with me? No
mm,
kids, maybe someone can watch the kids. Let's talk. No interruptions, no distractions. Set the time aside so that
mm-hmm,
nothing else is, no phones. Like, just
yeah,
let's have an hour for us,
mm-hmm,
and let's talk about maybe the balance of the work in the home, or
mm-hmm,
let's talk about, if they haven't established yet, what are their love languages? Maybe he might be a physical touch kind of person, so wants more of that, but she can't give that because she's, like you said, all touched out. So
mm-hmm,
understanding how people feel and receive love
mm-hmm,
is, excuse me, a good base point to come to as well. Like, just to even understand, all right, well, you can show me, I don't feel love when you touch me. I feel love when you do things for me, or
mm-hmm,
when you let me know you're thinking of me when we're not together. Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
how that might be how she feels love. So
yeah,
even just establishing, and that's a 5-minute quiz you guys can do over
yeah,
coffee, is work out
yeah,
what your love languages are. It's brilliant. So I guess coming up with that, and then thinking, you know, we've touched on it in another episode about, it's not a competition about who's the tiredest and who's,
mm,
because we like to do that. We like to win at
yeah,
how tired and busy we are. And
mm,
actually being able to go, okay, we're a team and we
mm,
choose each other. So let's actually get some stuff done.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
let's meet these needs.
yeah, yeah. But
And when
even
you, yeah, go on.
sorry, even before you start talking about love languages and things, like just trying to figure out like this actual particular problem, sorting that bit out first, and just saying
Mm,
right, and always like that formula, I will go back to it,
yeah.
like that Gottman formula. I will keep on going back to that to the data, and that's why it's really important to do the emotional processing to get to the
Mm,
actual core of the problem. So what's the underlying feeling, and then saying I'm feeling unappreciated and like you feel your time is more important because when you get home from work, you've got 2 hours in front of the TV while I'm still getting children who I've attended to all day. You know, bathed and ready for bed, etc.
Yeah.
What I need from you is to have a look around, and if you could just spend half an hour like folding clothes or doing dishes or just lightening my load just a little bit, just like having a look around and seeing what needs to be done, I would be so appreciative of that. And when you can talk to them from a space that isn't accusatory, it's like,
Yeah.
you never helped me with this, like that's just going to bring walls up and no one's going to hear
Yeah.
what you're saying. But when you can come at it like that, it doesn't overly come across as criticism. And you can say it as, this doesn't come from a place of criticism. This comes from a
Yeah.
place of, this is what I'm really feeling. And also understanding that, like, it takes, for any men who might be listening, it takes a lot of guts for a woman to come at them with an issue, because
Well, the vulnerability. Yeah.
exactly, it goes against every fiber of our
Mm.
being to rock the boat, because we've
Right.
been trained from birth basically to keep quiet, don't rock the boat, don't start any arguments.
Yeah.
So
To
if
be everything to everyone.
yeah, and so if you're in a
Yeah.
position where someone is bringing something to you, understand that instead of like going at them and saying, "Oh, who do you think you are?" or whatever,
Yeah.
like understand that it took a lot for them to come to you with that in the first.
Yeah.
So that's a really key thing to remember. But yeah, that formula of I
Yes.
feel because of what I need from you now is, or what I'm afraid will happen if this continues
Yeah.
is. So she could go either way with that. She could go, I feel this because of this. What I need from you is to da 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 da. Or you could say, what I'm afraid will happen if this continues is that I'm going to feel more and more resentment towards you, and we're just going to drift further and further apart.
Right.
And I don't want that. Like, so when you come at it like that,
Yeah.
it's going to be received a lot easier. And yes, like a lot of the comments on that Facebook post was like, tell him how it is and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, it would feel good for you in the moment because you've
Yeah.
offloaded your discomfort of how you're feeling,
Yeah.
but it's actually not going to ever achieve anything.
That's why doing the setup of, say, honey, can we meet on Saturday morning for a
Mm.
coffee? By that time, a few days might have gone past and you've regulated yourself again.
Yeah, you've ridden
You're
out
not
the
doing it in
emotional
the heat
wave.
of the
Yep.
moment, because when you
Mm-hmm.
yell at someone, that's very what we call in my coaching very adolescent behavior.
Mm.
It's like you're protecting your inner child within yourself. You know, if
Yep.
we've got our inner child, our inner adolescent, and then our adult,
Mm-hmm.
the little child in you has got these fears and unmet needs. And then the
Mm-hmm.
adolescent in you is the one that wants to protect that child. And they're like the bear, bear, bear.
Mm.
Neither one of them is right here in the right now and
Mm-hmm.
can go, okay, let's just pause on all of this and just breathe and let's just
Yeah.
go, okay, what's the common goals here?
Yeah, yeah. Because if you come at someone with "you never, I always, la la
Yeah,
la la," that language is going to get their defenses up immediately. And
immediately.
we hear it as like we don't hear the underlying emotion underneath it because we're too busy trying to justify our position. So,
Yeah,
like as I was saying, the other week with hubby, when I came to him with something straight away, he
yeah,
justified, and then he threw it back at me. Why didn't you do this then? Kind of thing. And like it offloaded his immediate discomfort of being criticized.
yeah,
And we hate being criticized because as children, we need to make sure that our parents, love us and don't think any wrong of us
yeah,
because our survival depended on it. But yeah, them seeing it when you come at it with what I feel this because of this, it it doesn't it doesn't get that need to hit it back over the fence straight away
yeah,
with like with defensiveness because
yeah,
I did this because of this and this and this. It's like, no, you're not hearing me.
yeah.
Yeah. And we do that because we want to offload that discomfort straight away. But yeah, it's when someone comes to you with beef, I know it's going to go against every fiber of your being to hit it back over the fence, but shut up. I'm
Because
done.
it's like we want to win almost. Like
Yeah,
we
we don't want to
want,
be wrong. We don't want to be
yeah,
wrong.
that's
Yeah,
it. We don't want
yeah.
to be
Don't
wrong.
want to be wrong. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
what I would say, yeah. So emotionally process, get to the actual what the actual problem is, then I love that setting up a time because
Yeah,
then, especially avoid, like if people are avoidance, like if they have an avoidant
yeah.
attachment style, if you come at them with something, they feel ambushed and they get, I think that the terminology is flooded. Like they feel engulfed with emotion. They're like,
And
"Bleh."
start catastrophizing about what's wrong. We're gonna.
Yeah, or that, or they're just like, no, this is too much, and they'll just push it away. Like they just don't want to hear it. It's like you're too
Yeah,
much, you're too much.
yeah.
So yeah,
To say if you
by
want
coming
to be in this relationship and you want this marriage and this family to work, why
mm,
wouldn't you want to put in the time to be on the same page? If
well,
all you're
interesting
interested in
thing.
doing is being the busiest and the tiredest and not being wrong,
Mm,
then I'm kind of questioning, do you want this relationship? Like,
it's interesting. Like, yeah, avoidant attachment styles. They're the ones that need to sort of come to the party and realize that there's something wrong with their behavior because
yeah,
the anxious attached person who's like, please see me, please appeal to me, please talk to me, please tell me your feelings, please, 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 please. The one that's always like crashing onto the shore, they're in it. They want it to work, but the avoidant's
yeah,
like, no, too much, no, it's too big, no, it's da 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 da.
it's not
So
easy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So if you are someone who is avoidant, you need to recognize that you're avoidant
right.
and go, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't be avoidant because that's the only way that the relationship will actually repair if the avoidant actually realizes that they're avoidant and wants to
They
do
might be
something.
the ones that wake up in 5 years' time going, where did my wife go?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
happened?
yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
is she? Where is
Like
she?
you avoided her so much that she decided to go. Yeah,
That she just got fed up and said it's not worth me pursuing this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, so have we solved their problem? Do you think? So we've emotionally.
I'm just going to
Had
suggest that maybe it sounds like they just they need to get to a point where, well, she needs to get to a point where a little bit of bedroom time is not a chore for her, that she actually
mm,
wants to be there and that she's actually a willing partner in this rather than just
yeah.
like, oh, well, come on, let's get it over with then. Because
Mm,
that's not fulfilling at all either.
no,
And again,
absolutely.
more resentment. So I'm
Mm,
gonna hopefully think that if they've had a good chat and she feels seen and heard and valued
okay.
and they are on the same page and there's a little bit of a mindset shift and that they can
Mhm,
come to some agreements about the sharing of the roles with the bedtime routine
mhm.
and just being a little bit affectionate in non-sexy ways too goes along like a little pinch in
Always
the
starts at
arse, a
breakfast.
hug and
Yeah.
a kiss that
Mhm,
means nothing, well, doesn't go anywhere right then and there,
mhm,
just touching and a little bit of affectionate.
mhm.
I think I read somewhere like when again, I'm just making up the stats because I don't remember it, but something about when if a husband and wife kiss each other good morning and good night every night, their marriage is going to be like, I don't know,
Okay.
20 times more long lasting or something. Just I can't remember what the stats are.
The Gottman's research says that
Yeah.
it's a 5-to-1 ratio. So in a normal family situation, you need 5 positive interactions to 1 negative
Okay.
for it to build a culture of being a good, strong, healthy
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you stuff up, then it takes like 5 positive interactions to make up for that one
Ah,
negative
okay.
one because negative has a lot more weight than
Yeah.
positive. So that's why if you have an argument with your partner, it takes a little while to get that trust and that sort of
Yeah. Or that you feel that you want to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say to him, like, absolutely, once you've had the conversation and you brought up a really good point that for women to want to be physical, we need to feel safe and we need to feel heard and we need to feel emotionally connected.
Yeah.
So once you have that conversation, and if he is actually doing all the right things and not doing what a man would normally do, which is trying to fix it
Yeah.
or say it's not my fault
Tell
or
her, no, no, you
why
don't feel that way. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or, well,
yeah,
why didn't you do this? Why didn't you tell me so? Whatever
yeah,
it is, like if
yeah,
he just shuts up, hears her,
yeah,
agrees to his part of it, even if he doesn't agree with it in that moment, can see her point of view because
yeah,
her emotions didn't come out of a vacuum. They came from somewhere
yeah,
and he's part of it. So he's got to assume some sort of responsibility.
yeah,
So if he can assume the responsibility, hear her, emotionally connect to her, make her feel safe, then it's going to take a little while, like 5-to-1,
mm,
until she feels ready that she's going to be able to, let him throw a leg over and actually want him to throw a leg
yeah.
over.
and he might get lucky the next day. So you know
Right.
what?
Yeah.
Um,
But like as you say, like foreplay begins at breakfast. Like it begins with like a little cheeky pinch on the bum or a little wink or a little "you look good today" or
yeah.
whatever it
Well, you know,
might.
when you're sitting across, just imagine we're sitting across from each other, having our coffee and having this conversation. And if you reach over and hold their hand, if you really look into their eyes, really no distractions. How often do you actually look into your partner's eyes and really see that soul that's in front of
Mm.
you?
Yeah.
It's powerful
Never.
stuff.
You never do
Never.
that.
Like
No.
you might sit across from each other at the dinner table, or you barely look at them in passing all the time. If you
Mm.
this was an exercise I did in one of my classes once, is you can do it with the checkout chick, you can do it with a work colleague, you can do it with a client or a friend or just a random person that you are across sitting on a bus with, whatever.
Mm.
It might be uncomfortable if you just totally don't know them. But if
Exactly
you
one
actually
person what you're
really
doing.
make eye contact, if you,
Mm.
how many times do you not even, you're at Coles doing your groceries and you're not even making eye contact with the person that's serving you? But
Yeah.
if you really, it doesn't have to be awkward. The longer you hold it, the more awkward it is. But if you just really just, hey, how's your day
Mm.
going?
Mm.
And really look into their eyes, you'll see something and
Mm.
it will remind you about, I love this person. let's
Mm.
let's try harder.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah. You
So
married
just,
him for a reason. So,
yeah. So
mm.
don't let life get in the way of, your marriage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or your
Absolutely.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like on a deeper, like obviously if we were working with this lady a little bit more, like I
Yeah.
would say like, what is your belief
Keep
system?
talking. I'm just plugging my laptop in. Yep.
Oh, okay. Go plug yourself in, Dora. But it's
Yeah.
also about like underlying beliefs. So this is what I'm going to be talking about in my masterclass on Thursday. It's like, what are your underlying belief systems around what needs to be done and why? So it's like, when it comes to those gender, like, do children actually really need to be bathed every single day?
Mm.
Like, is that necessary? Did that happen in the wild? I don't know. Like, do these things need to be done every day? Like, I have like the last 2 years, I would say, with me working, kids, keeping the house together, and doing my business. A lot of the things that I believe to be true around how often you need to change sheets, how often you need to vacuum, how often you need to do whatever,
Mm.
that has changed
Yeah.
dramatically.
My standards have changed too in all those
Yeah,
same
yeah.
things. Yeah.
And it's like sure you can say, okay, yeah, they've dropped, but it's like, was it ever really freaking necessary in the first
Yeah.
place to vacuum every third day or like whatever it is, change your sheets every week or whatever? Like it's like,
Mm.
is that who wrote that? Who
Yeah.
and whose judgment? Who are you trying to impress by doing it? Like whose judgment do you fear the most?
Yeah. Why
In
are you killing yourself to maintain a standard that, who even decided on the standard in the first place?
Yeah. So a
Yeah.
realization that I came to when it came to all of that was like, I'm trying to, I've got to keep the house clean, I've got to do this, got to da, 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 da. And it's like the standard that I was trying to keep up was like someone who I didn't even admire their lifestyle or like, I don't want to be like that. And it's like,
Mm.
well, why am I buying into their belief systems that this
Yeah.
needs to be done? If I don't
Yeah.
want to be like them, what am I doing? So I
What
was
are you
like, so
doing?
yeah, so now it's like they may come to the house and they may judge it or whatever and go, oh, wow, look at the dust bunnies and whatever. And I'll just be like, yeah, haven't vacuumed in a week. And look at that, we're all still alive. Like,
Who'd have
it's like,
thought?
yeah, yeah. And so now it's just it's that whole let them. It's like, I just don't care. I just do not care. I would rather be a happier mum, more relaxed, and be pleasant to be around
Yeah.
than be an absolute have the house spotless,
Then
but
be a
have
Stepford
the kids
wife.
walking
Yeah.
on eggshells and being a complete bitch to a husband who comes home. Like that's just what I choose.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, what are your beliefs around what needs to be done? What are your values? Like, if you value your kids, but you're telling them to shut up, be quiet, and go to their room while you clean the house, like where are
Mm.
your values? Do you value having a clean house or do you value being connected to your kids?
Mm.
because they're not going to be the same. They're not going to equal the same thing. Like you can have happy kids or a clean house. Can't have both a lot of the time.
Right.
Yeah. So
At
it's
all
like,
times. Yeah.
so where are your values at?
Very
Where,
rare that you'd get them at the same time, right?
yeah, well, that's right. And like, yeah, and you need to like let it go if things do get, messed
Yeah.
up. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot about, yeah, like where are your values and what are your beliefs? And so it does run a whole lot deeper. Like, you could just say, oh,
Yeah.
I just need to cross a few more things off the to-do list, but it's not. It's like, where does the to-do list come
Mm.
from? Whose judgment are you fearing if the to-do list doesn't get done? And like, yeah, does it have to be done this way? Like, yeah, tapping into what actually brings you joy in
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see the benefit of maybe doing a monthly coffee date with your spouse just to go, all right, how's this week been? How's next? Like really connect with them. Make sure you're on
Mhm.
the right page.
Yeah.
Do
Date
feel
nights are
seen,
so
feel heard. Yeah.
date nights are really
Yeah.
important. It's something that, interestingly, we've got support workers coming to take Ashton out on a Sunday afternoon now, which is awesome. So we get like a couple of hours to ourselves. But like Lila's here and Lila wants to come out for lunch as well. So I'm like,
Ah,
okay. And it's like, we don't want to exclude her, but it's like, I'd
mm,
love to have just some mum and
yeah.
dad time to talk and not just, the stuff that mums and dads do if there's no kids around kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, it'd be nice to
Yeah.
just connect in that way too. So,
Mm.
um, so yeah, but date nights,
There's always next week.
exactly. Yeah. And Mark and I always used to have like a once a month date night, like where we'd go
Mm.
for dinner and the movies. And it just reminds you why you married them in the first place because it
Yeah.
gets lost
Don't
in,
forget to have fun.
yeah. Yeah, and it does get lost. Another really good book recommendation as well, like for couples who are looking to seek to that connection again, is again by the Gottmans, my gurus.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Eight Dates, and it's
Mm-hmm.
about asking each other questions over an 8 date
Ooh,
period. It's really,
right.
really good. I haven't reconnected with it for a while. I got it on Audible, but yeah, that's a good book if you're looking for more connection with your partner. And when you build up that culture of connection, having conversations that can be a little bit, sort of controversial, but like when you when you keep up to date with the weeding of your garden, then it's not such a big job. If you do it once every 6 months, it's a lot easier to weed once a month and keep on top of it than what it is to do it just once every 6 months.
Right,
Shit,
right.
what a job.
Don't look in my backyard.
Gardening my partner's job.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I hope that Anonymous got what.
yeah, I love that, and I think that that's some things for the right here, right now, and some long-term
Mm,
strategies too to not get to that point in the first place.
mm.
Yeah,
And it's so
because
interesting when you actually recognize that you have got needs that aren't being met, and then you ask for them to be met in a really resourceful way
mhm,
of, I'm feeling this because of this, what I need from you is this. If they are in a secure reciprocal partnership, then he will do what he needs to do to make her feel seen, heard, secure.
yeah,
But if he doesn't, that says a lot about the relationship as
right,
well. If he doesn't do it on repeat, then you need to really question, what am I doing in this relationship? And I'm
right,
not saying that she should leave him or whatever, but if needs aren't being met and you've expressed them really resourcefully over and over and over again and they're still not being met, then someone's not in it.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like it's a really and that's maybe when you should go, because if,
mm,
if if it's not being met over and over again and you're doing it the best way that you can in the most resourceful way that you can, and there's still that refusal to, because having
mm,
needs make you needy. And it's so interesting, like even like having a young 17-year-old daughter, like she's had one boyfriend, and yeah, she was saying that like she needed more time with him because of school, because they had a little bit of a summer romance. And as soon as school went back, she didn't really see a lot of him. And she goes, I really want to see him more, but I don't want to seem needy and that. And I said, having needs does not make you needy. If you need to see him more,
mm,
then and if you are his priority, then he will carve out time to come over, or he will invite you over. Like he will, we make time for what is important to us. That's just the hard cold facts.
yeah,
And if you're not making time for it, then it's not a priority for you. And so she did say that. She goes, I need to see more of you. And he did make an effort for another couple of weeks, but then it sort of fell off again. And I
Mm.
said, well, you can ask again, but if he's, if he drops off again, it's
That's
a
your answer.
of what's going to keep on happening. So now you can kind of, yeah. So that
Yeah,
actually really put her in a place of empowerment because she was like, I
yeah.
actually have a say in what goes on with this. I don't have to hang on to him for the sake of hanging on to him because I really, really, really wanted a boyfriend. It's like, am I happy in this?
Mm.
Yeah. And she said the best thing, like when they actually did break up, she was like, and I was sort of like, oh, do you want to get back together with him or what? And she goes, well, just the way that he is. I'm just thinking of my future self. Do I want to be tied to that? And I'm like, it's
My
taken
job
you,
here is done.
yeah, taken you 16 years. What took me
Go,
32
Mama. Yeah,
to figure out. So I'm just like, yes. So yeah,
brilliant. That's
yeah,
great.
interesting. So yeah, these kids, they're much more woke today, but I'm really
Yeah.
like, I'm glad she's realized that she doesn't have to settle.
17. No.
Exactly. No, no, no. Not
Yeah.
when you're as good looking as my girl is too.
I know.
Mm.
She's gorgeous.
Treasure trove of
I
men. Need to
know.
keep a big stick by the door to belt them all back.
Oh, so have we wrapped it up then? I
I
think
reckon
that's
so. I
yeah, we've
reckon
probably
so.
been nattering away for so long.
I
Thank you
know.
for sticking with us if you've made it this far.
Hmm.
Love to answer questions and really dig deep. So, like we've mentioned before, give us a scenario.
Yeah.
You can
We
make one up.
we're actually going to fall over with our leg in the air if anyone does actually email us with a scenario. Like it would make our year, I think,
Oh,
because no one's done it yet. We've had to sort of pick them off the internet. But please, if you've got something, give it to us.
please.
If you want a guest spot, if you want some hot seat coaching,
Oh, yeah.
do that too. Like we'd
Oh,
love to.
yeah.
We'd
Let's
love
do
to.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe. You guys know what to do.
All the
Reach
things.
out. We're here for you. So, good chat, Kez. Well
Yeah,
done.
good chat. Good chat, Millsy.
Chat.
Brilliant.
Good chat.
Solving the
All right.
problems of the world.
We wrap it up.
Let's
All
do it.
right. We need our exit song. All
Oh,
right.
okay. Close your eyes.
I
And a bit of a Johnny Young moment.
know. I know.
That's it.
All right.
Stay
Showing
beautiful.
our age.
Something
All
along
right.
those lines.
We'll see you next time. All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.